our candidate forum. Our first hour is devoted to the H2GO commissioners. And one of the commissioner candidates, unfortunately, is not able to attend tonight, or approved, because he's been exposed to some of COVID and so for safety, he's not participating, but we don't participate because we want. Anyway, I'm talking around lunch in Brunswick County. I want to thank all of you for coming and your interest in the candidates. The League of Women Voters also has online a vote 411.org project. You can go on, type in, log in, vote 411.org, and it'll take you there for a place where you can put in your address, where you live, and then all the candidates will come up for all the different offices that you'll be voting on. And those who have completed their information and inputted it into us, I'll be there so you can learn more about the candidate, learn about their positions, and some questions that we ask. So we encourage people to take advantage of our vote 411.org. We've got bookmarks in that we put our review. So to begin, no clapping, no cheering, no booing, no listening, just clap at the end for all of our candidates, okay? So this is very much a nonpartisan, open forum. The candidates have materials that are outside that you can pick up and look at. You can talk to the candidates afterwards, I assume. We'll be around for that. But at 7 o'clock or close to 7 o'clock, we'll start with the town council candidates. Okay. And in front here, we have two League of Women Voters who are the timekeepers, and they will be timing the candidates because they have a certain amount of time to answer each question. And I'm assuming it's still beeps when the time is up. So you'll know when your time is up. Okay. And what we do is we'll start alphabetically, but then I'm going to switch the order so we don't always have the same person talking first all the time. Okay. And thank you to the town officials at the Cultural Arts Center for allowing us to do this. It's been such a crazy year. We're doing forums in all different kinds of ways around this district. Okay. Hope I have not forgotten anything. So let's begin. Okay, by introducing our candidates. What I'd like you to do is introduce yourself and describe your leadership vision for H2GO. Commissioner, you have 2 minutes to do this. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Bill Beer. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for this forum and inviting me here. I currently proudly serve on a board with these two gentlemen next to me. We've committed our experience, talents to guide H2GO in achieving its goals. In my case, I have 40 years of working experience. The goals being delivering clean, safe water to everybody, reducing the cost, reliable sewer services, and working with our local, state, and county partners in achieving those goals. And the goals are clean, safe water, working with our local partners, etc. And I think we've done a pretty good job. We've delivered goods. The new reverse osmosis plant will be online early next year, and it won't cost you 1 penny more in your water rate. We've recently completed a deal with the town of Leland. You've heard about it. This is a formal relationship that will cement and cultivate growth and prosperity, new jobs both now and in the future. We've worked with our county partners and within our own ranks to upgrade and expand our sewer water services to meet the many demands that occur with the unanticipated growth that we've experienced in the last couple of years and in the future. I believe we deserve your vote for the accomplishments we've produced and I hope you feel the same.
Thank you. Mr. Jenkins?
Good evening. My name is Ron Jenkins. I'm presently serving as the chairman of the board. For the past 4 years, we have really worked very hard at trying to provide clean, safe water for all of our customers. We've had some ups and downs. There's been some crossroads, there's been some rough roads. But however, we have gotten to the point that we are almost to produce water for you. Right now, we're looking at somewhere going into 2022, and we hope to have water running through the pipes at that time. I know a lot of you have been waiting on this water. A lot of you have really biting at the bits to get this water. So hopefully this will take place in the month of the coming new year. We have worked very diligently together. You know, these guys that sit from my left and right, Bill and Rodney, extraordinary individuals. When I say there's been some rough roads, we haven't always agreed, but we have agreed to disagree. And we have been able to come together as a board and make some wise decisions that are going to affect each and every one of you. Those decisions has to do with the water and also has to do with sewer. And I tell you what, these guys have really buckled down, up and down, and really we have gotten to the point that we can really be rational in our thinking and also make sure that we are giving you the best service that we can give. Thank you.
My name is Rodney McCoy. Can you hear me okay? Again, I'd like to thank the legal voters for this forum. I hope it becomes as useful. I'm like the rest. I am a commissioner, and we're running for re-election. We've done a whole lot of work the last 2 years, both in wastewater and in the water plant that we're building. It's going to be water before long. When I first ran, the Gen X problem was it was not new from the standpoint of being around since the 80s, but the news about it was new. Since then, there's been more news about it, it's been worse every time the news comes up. So hopefully you're looking forward to things safe water as much as I'm looking forward to things safe water. I know the Gen X is not a big process. One thing we are running, one reason we're running is, like Ron mentioned, the plants will be completed in early February. And then we got tested, things done, and we get you clean water. So we're here because we want to finish the job. So please remember that we want to finish the job and we all that you busy. We've been working on so hard for so many years. Thank you.
Thank you. And now for our first substantive issue question, Mr. Jenkins, can you go first? What benefit for 75 seconds? What benefits, if any, has the town of Leland received from the recent consolidation of water and sewer services?
One thing that the town of Leland has received, the town of Leland is not in the water business. I don't think they really want to be in the water business. They allow us to take up the water to make sure that you're getting what you need as far as water is concerned. Not only that, there's some other benefits that we have received with this, and so far as the relationship that we have built. It's been an outstanding relationship. We continue to foster that relationship, and we will continue to do so in the coming months.
That agreement that we signed with Leland came down as a little bit of a surprise because traditionally but it's really working out well to the benefit of both sides. We get together in an agreement like this, nobody gets 100% of what they want. I think both sides look at substantial way. In our case, well, we are not built roads, we are not have a big department, things like that. We are water and sewer, and we do a job of that. And people realize that, and that's where it needs to be. So now we have complete control of water. Really can address what they do that is providing services like police. So I think it works best for everybody.
I think, one of the things I'd like to say is, at some point, Leland needs to chime in on this question. So, whoever's asked it, probably Leland's in a better position to answer how they benefit. From my perspective, it has to do with business simplification, managed growth, duplication of effort. In many cases, H2GO and town of Leland found themselves tripping over each other, trying to get the same job done. So it was a duplication that's going to be eliminated. Leland's going to probably benefit from less administrative costs. And again, just kind of touching on Ron's comment, they're going to be able to focus on what they do best and continue to do so while H2GO can focus on what we do best.
Any question? Okay. Next up, because I'm the one person who's not here. Okay, H2GO has often stated publicly that there will be no future water rate increases because of the construction of reverse osmosis plant. However, considering the rapid growth of the Leland area, we anticipate that increased demand could cause changes to the current water rate.
Thank you for that question. Several years ago, a very extensive analysis was done by a company called Raptalis, which is one of the premier organizations to do those type of analysis. In fact, the same organization that does Brunswick County. Their analysis basically says what we've always been saying. As far as the road is concerned, our road is we work on a plant with 40 million gallons a day. We're actually going to get 50 gallons a day.
I need to record, so I need to record this.
One benefit that's good for now that you may not be aware of is when the county is we're set up now where people maintain our rate a little bit different by that also. So you're looking at significant savings of money just by what we're able to
One of the jobs of the board is to anticipate and plan for the unanticipated. And certainly the growth in this area is one of those things that few of us have envisioned. But having said that, we have worked with the engineering companies and the finance companies, as Mr. McCoy indicated. And you have to understand that in case of any type of facility, that increasing its size by, say, 25 or 50% doesn't increase the cost of the facility by that much. So and that's basically the rule of economies of scale. What happens is that as we grow, we have more customers paying the bill and spreading out the costs over a larger population. What's nice about our RO plant and waste treatment is they're modular. You can easily bolt capacity onto it because the core is already there.
This is fine.
Several years ago, Raptalis gave us a report on cost, or gave us a cost analysis. In the process, we took a look at that cost analysis and we compared where we will be with the county. And we found out by buying water, it costs us. But now we can pump water from the ground and use that water to offset costs. We don't have to go to a middleman. And since we're not going to a middleman, naturally the prices will be lower. So we don't have to pass any prices increases onto our customers. We made a promise to you. We made a promise to you that we will not increase prices. And that's what we intend to do. One other thing, when you look at the relationship that we have with Leland, we're bringing in new customers. This, as Bill said, the economy of scale will allow us to take those customers, and they're also going to be a part of our, will be part of our customer base. So therefore, the prices are going to be, and we're not planning to increase.
Thank you. Okay,
What if I said no? Certainly, certainly.
What is your opinion, what is your opinion of seeking a process to provide reclaimed water to our larger subdivisions in order to reduce the burden on the river public system?
Yes, I do, and I understand it, and I support it 100%. Matter of fact, if you attended a board meeting, you would know that we approved a motion to do just that into some undeveloped areas of Leland. Obviously, bringing infrastructure into an established neighborhood is quite costly, so the areas we're considering are undeveloped, but soon will be, and we're going to offer at a reduced cost irrigation using our wastewater effluent. Understand also, the wastewater effluent is almost drinking water quality. I wouldn't ask anybody in here to drink it, but it would be perfectly fine for irrigation. And that water is thrown away right now. So from an environmental standpoint, it's a great idea.
As Bill said, we're in the process of, if you attend our last board meeting, we discussed using wastewater, cleaning it up, and also using it for irrigation. This itself will prevent us from having to ship that water to the plant, wastewater treatment plant. If we keep it out of the wastewater treatment plant, plus we're helping the county prolong that wastewater treatment plant. If that water is not used, naturally it's going to be put into the wastewater. So therefore, it's so interesting that that question came up, because that is something that we've been looking at as a board. And I'll tell you what, Bill has been the front runner on that. We kind of lean on Bill constantly to find questions about how we need to do that. And we are not only leaning on Bill, but Rodney. We all lean on each other. In other words, when it comes to certain type of questions because of experience base. We all have our set of experiences, and we are using our experiences on the board.
That was a very appropriate question for this time. Since we basically have reviewed the entire situation in the last meeting we had, Brunswick County already does this with several golf courses on the other end of the county. They run.
Can you hold the microphone closer, please?
Okay, this better? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm learning. The Brunswick County already uses recycled water at several golf courses in the lower end of the county. So it's nothing new in this county, and obviously nothing new in the United States. The reason we're looking at the undeveloped areas that will soon be developed is we can go ahead and lay the pipe down and not have to dig up and everything else that's involved in infrastructure. We'll lay the pipe and be there and make use of the water. One additional thing on that, I did check. I was told that there was potentially a line to Magnolia Grange, and that line is most likely yes, and most likely so. That may be impractical. But we have enough area right now that will be developed that can basically use all the water out of our wastewater plant.
Would you like for me to answer again? More than happy to.
So one line people first, and then once the RO plant is operating, what backup plans do you have to take in that will be implemented? Should the plant experience a problem, you must be able to provide sufficient water.
If something should happen there, our goal is to set up a underground storage facility that will store water during times that are difficult. We're working hard to put that together. Bob, which is our executive director, He's working now, making sure that those plans are put into motion. And not only that, we can always, depend upon the county if we have to. But hopefully, nothing would happen to our system, but you never know. But it does, we do plan to have a backup plan.
If you've ever worked with an RO facility, and I work with numerous ones, these machines are highly reliable. If you go to any resort in Mexico, you're drinking RO water. If you go on any cruise, you're drinking RO water. They, roughly 300 million people in the world are now using RO water. So it's a good technology and it's highly reliable. As far as any sort of failures, like Ron mentioned, we are in the process long-term of developing underground storage, which as the plants run, which they prefer 100%, we take excess water and put it in the ground and give it storage for later. Obviously, you've also got storage in the medium gallon storage tank and the water towers. And as a last resort, we do have access to Brunswick County water. A third thing is these machines are built in trains. So it'd be very improbable that the whole thing would go down at once. You're looking at maybe a portion of it, if any, would go down at a time. So as far as losing 100%, anything can happen, but it's very improbable.
Thank you. Peter?
One thing that I'll kind of jump on the same thoughts that Ronnie and Rodney were talking about. As far as the backup systems, we have underground tanks which give us some headspace in there. We're going to maintain the connection with the county in the unlikely event that some disaster should occur. We'll always have that. As far as these machines depend upon electricity to run, and we'll have backup generators on the ready for it to come on if we lose the electricity. About 50% of the cost of the RO plant depends upon electrical energy. In the unlikely event of, say, a terrorist attack, God forbid, we would still have those backup systems and trains. Be highly unlikely, as Rodney said, that you could wipe out all the modules in one fell swoop. But in the unlikely event, we still have the backup connection with the county.
Thank you. Okay, that's H2GO have any policies to protect those customers within at or below the property level from losing water and sewer utility policies?
We have several policies. One is, in this COVID time, there's been a lot of restrictions anyway, so the lights been cut off quite some time. We also, in case anybody is not aware, H2GO has a roundup program where if your bill is $56.38, you're rounded up to $57, and extra money goes to a fund that is able to help different things. In addition, we just started working with the federal government. They have a program now that will pay people's water bill and sewer bill that are back. And that's in process now. In addition, we don't have that many, really, for the truth. So the number is small enough where we can actually work with individual people to allow them to get up to snuff without creating that sort of problem.
Can you stop me? As Rodney was saying, we're working with the state and the county on a program called the Low Income Water Assistance Program. We've identified 190 connections, families, individuals that qualify for this. We're participating in concert with the county and the state to acquire funds to help these people pay their water bills so they don't have to go without and have their service shut down.
As Rodney and Bill said, we are working with various agencies to make sure that folks do not get their water turned off. In fact, during the pandemic, we didn't shut anybody off by reason of federal government, but even after that, we still haven't shut anyone off. We will not shut them off, but we're looking at those programs that are out there to make sure that they know about the program, and also not knowing about the program, but actually come in and talk to us so that we can set up some type of pickup plan for them. We are really dedicated to not having to shut anyone off. It really hurts to know that a single person can be shut off or would be shut off, but we're not. That's not something that we try to do. But also the Roundup program has been very, because you participated in the Roundup program. You're given the 5 cents to 10 cents or whatever it is that goes over that $1 that you are paying as far as your bill is concerned. And that too helped those folks who cannot pay their bill.
What ideas do you have about ways that the utility could help educate customers about water use conservation and how they can lower their bill?
The ideas would be to instruct everybody to go to the website. If you haven't seen H2GO's website, please go there and look at it. You talk about getting an education. It's been upgraded over the last couple of years by our information, our information officer. I almost forgot his title. And he's done a marvelous job. I think we continue to work with Tyler Witowski and our executive director, Mr. Bob Walker. And Bob, really, that falls into an operations realm, and that's Bob's main job. But we all share ideas about improving communications, and that's a big issue. We try to send things out in flyers and what have you, make announcements and press releases. The best thing is go to the website and take a look at it and navigate. It's very easy to do.
We are constantly sending out information on how to preserve or how to conserve water. If you, as Bill said, go to the website, our PIO officer is constantly putting stuff out so that you can see it, so that you can be educated as to the processes that can be used to save water. One other thing about saving water is that whenever you, as individuals, see water as far as in the community and so forth, it's just running down the street, if you will, just contact us so that we can fix those things so that it does not waste water. When we build the RO plant, we want to preserve all the water that we can preserve and not just let it go to waste. And that's the reason why we're doing some other things so that we just don't throw away water, because it is going to become a hot commodity later on. I mean, we know how bad it is out, getting out of Cape Fear River, but we want to make sure that we conserve every ounce of water that we can conserve.
I get to say something a little different this time. When H2GO started, meter reading was obviously manual, where they open it up and read the numbers and write it down. Later, they went to radio frequency where they could drive by and do it. Now, we use the old frequency from pagers and antennas located on water towers, and everything is read in-house. We don't have to go out anywhere, and we can read it there. But what that does is it gives us water consumption in 1 hour increments. So there's been numerous cases that we've actually called customers up and said, it looks like you got a leak, and they would. So that's coming quite handy to be able to look and see what water is used and what water is excessive. And if the alarms go off, we can give you a call and help you save substantial water just by staying on top of the programs we have available now.
Could I say something else?
Bouncing off what Ronnie just said, you have sending units, if you live in this area, that are little black buttons on top of your water meters, they're exposed. Please don't cover them up. You know, my wife covered it up with a pot, and it's not attractive, don't get me wrong, but we can't do the readings. And now we have to send people out to uncover them. Either landscaper can cover them up, and, you know, you might be guilty of it. Leave them uncovered, please. Okay, you'll be hearing from us soon.
And as he said, please do not cover those things up. We see a lot of, and also, we are not having, you know, increased costs, but if those things are covered up, we're sending man hours out there, that's just an increase in cost there. So help us to help you. Yes, I will.
What is the exposure of our utilities to outside hacker attacks? How do we protect this infrastructure?
We have, you know, spyware and some of the other processes that are used to make sure that that doesn't happen. But let me tell you, even with some of your large companies, they'll have, you know, nobody is foolproof. I wish we could say that we are, but let's hope that it never happens to us. Let's just hope that it's never happening. So to be honest with you, we're just not foolproof right here. And so it can happen to anyone, but let's pray that it doesn't happen to us.
Actually, that's a question, should be directed to our executive director. We've asked him that question, and he's given us a very extensive list of things that they are doing to ensure that our system stays safe, our customers' information stays safe. But it's a little bit over my head, so I'm not going to elaborate. But please be assured that our people inside the office are monitoring that, looking at it every day.
Well, in matters of security, and you know, talking about how to keep a system online in the event of cyber attack, whatever, you know, everything's going digital. And you know, if you have a problem with your computer, it feels like your life's falling apart. How many people today could, you know, go on manual, if you will? And that's one of the things our executive director, Bob Walker, is doing. He's keeping a lot of the manual aspects of our operation there, even in the face of going digital. And we're all trying to save money and everything by doing that, being efficient. You still have to have backup systems where you have to turn a wrench, open a valve, or do something like that. That can be a problem when you're building new facilities. So we're constantly looking at that and ways to keep things maybe old school, just in case.
Now you all check me, I think I skipped a question. Let me know for this question. With rapid growth in our local area, what are your thoughts regarding, or would you support H2GO in developing and implementing a groundwater sustainability plan? Heard that question before? No? Okay. For its current and future service area and coordinating that plan with others who currently extract groundwater in and adjacent to our system.
Well, are you talking about the new system that's coming on, the reverse osmosis system, or the existing system? It makes a big difference. The existing system, we buy our water from the county. You know, as far as groundwater, taking water out of wells, and sustainability, we've had studies done by the state geologists. Take a look at how sustainable those wells are, both now and in the future. But we have the ability first of all, we have more wells than we really need. We have extra backup wells, and we have property where we could drill wells if we had a problem with any of those other wells. wells are like anything else, they can give up on them. So we have to be ready to go with an alternative, a source of water, another well. And we have that capability.
As Bill said, we have backup wells in case one of our wells go dry. And we have property that we use to drill more well. But other than that, that's basically where we stand as far as wells are concerned. Bob does a good job at seeking ways that we can constantly improve upon our water quality, and also where we get water from. He's constantly doing that. And so hopefully that will never happen, but in case it does, we are prepared for it.
Why not? We have a permit for, I believe, 8 million gallons a day to pump out of 2 different aquifers. Now, many years ago, there was several problems with groundwater. People pumping too much out in groundwater. The state has gotten involved, and they're very, very strict on groundwater usage. So if you do more than what you're permitted to do, you're going to have to answer to them, and be pretty strict on this. As far as any concern about running dry, now I know more about the Castlehane aquifer, so I can give you a number. We finished the rate of the Castlehane aquifer 65 million gallons a day. Ones we're pumping out is very more than that. So there's a whole lot more water going in than we're pulling out. So we should be good for a long, long time.
Thank you. Going forward, what should be the focus of the commissioners in planning for the future growth of the area?
We constantly have to look at our infrastructure, not only H2GO, but the area itself. We constantly have folks move in. This place is growing. When I was here, when I was a little kid, I used to run around in this area. I didn't worry about from house to house, but now we have houses, business, and everything springing up all over the place. So we gotta have the infrastructure to take care of the growth that is taking place here in this area, not only this area, but Brunswick County as a whole. We gotta constantly look at getting clean water, how we can continue to maintain that. If we need to expand our sewer system, we're gonna have to do that. There's a lot of things that we are looking at the present time to make sure that we're ready for all the growth that is going to take place in this area and beyond.
Most of the growth in this area, I'm sure you know, is not individual houses, but developments. When these developers come in and want to put in a development, they have a whole series of things they have to do as far as permits with the county, the state, and also discussions with us. Fortunately, that helps us plan because these developments usually 4, 5, 6 years in advance, and it gives us a chance to plan, make plans for our capacities, make plans for our wastewater capacities, make plans for pipes and transfer stations. So that's really a great service to us, being able to actually plan by working with people that will be providing or requiring water and sewer in either commercial projects or also residential projects.
Our business, H2GO, is not a standalone business. We are bonded together with the county in so many different ways, and we routinely sit down with them and look out into the distance and try to plan as best we can our projects so that we can meet future demand and address the unanticipated growth that's out there. It's a tricky business because you don't want to go too big and you don't want to be too small. And looking out more than maybe 2 or 3 years is a real challenge. But we sit down and we meet routinely with our partners to determine what the needs are going to be from a project standpoint, so that we have the necessary resources to provide our customers both now and looking down in the future.
Thank you. You all, Okay, to end the forum, you each have 1 minute. And any thought or thoughts that you have, that you think are important about the campaign ago that were not covered in the questions we posed to you. Here, you want to go first?
Oh, boy. One of the candidates is not here, and it was mentioned. And at the risk of being unfair, I was going to address something directly to that gentleman. And I don't know that I can do that now, because he's not here. So I will say this. Being a member of one of the most engaged and productive boards has been my privilege. We're asking for your vote so that we can maintain the trajectory that H2GO is on. Personally, I believe we deserve your vote, and I hope you feel the same way too.
Thank you.
I'd like to echo Bill's sentiment. It's been a privilege and an honor to serve with these two gentlemen. They have been very productive. And we, like I said earlier, there are times when we disagree, and yet we agree. And we agree on what's in the best interest of you, our constituents. Our fiduciary duty is to you. It's not to any organization or any single other entity. It's to you. What we do is making sure that you get the best service that you can get from us. These gentlemen are watching as we watch us as we go from one trend to the next. But the most important thing, bottom line, is what happens with it. It's providing you the best, clean, safest water that we can provide.
I moved over here across the river in 1981. I got two girls that grew up here, went to church here, went to school here, graduated from Old Brunswick. Now, when they were growing up, there was kids in my house all the time, which to me was great. Now, they used to teach me a lot. Do is go find this little dog and do the porch. And they work their way in. What I'm into, this area needs to be family friendly and safe. I'm hoping we make it family friendly, but by doing what we're doing with this water plant, we're gonna make clean, safe water for you. I want you to be able to, when you have guests, to not have to force them to drink bottled water, to not have to apologize for the water, to brag about the tap. So that's how much get the job done. And remember us in election day. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to repeat one thing to those of you who are a little bit late. The reason why our fourth candidate, Mr. Cook, is not here is because they're exposed to COVID from his job. Working here. So in order to be safe, he did